in a nutshell, this game is very simple. You hold an ordinal, it doubles, you get twice as many chances. If you inscribe it to risk it, you have a chance of basically surviving and winning a rare piece, depending on what tier you're on.
Cryptoslo, cryptocurrency news and investing.
Cryptoslo with more crypto gains. What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about Game of Blocks. Basically, if you had an RSIC, you got a Game of Blocks piece. It kind of looked like a little open edition or Pepe, and it ended up in your wallet. First and foremost, the first thing you need to do is send it to a burner. Okay, that way if you're connecting to anything else or whatever, you don't have to worry about getting drained. So what is Game of Blocks? Game of Blocks is an ordinal project where you start with the initial block, and then you have a timer, and then if you don't do anything, your block splits from 1 to 2. Okay? So, and then there's kind of a time period where this happens. Now, the alpha. I did not understand this when this game launched, but now I totally understand it. Basically, you can do two operations. You can risk your GOB, Game of Blocks, by reinscribing it, and it basically randomly will either survive or you're going to get a game over. That's one option. Option 2, do nothing. Then your Game of Blocks splits from 1 to 2. If it's the next round, it would be 2 to 4. So, okay, so we've laid down what happens, what your options are. So send it to a burner, and then decide, are you going to risk it or are you going to hold and split? So basically, the advantage of doing nothing is you're doubling your chances that when you do risk your block, you're going to get a better chance randomly for it to survive. But here's the alpha. Each round of this, the block becomes less rare. Okay, so if you risk it and it survives, it becomes basically another entity, and then it has a tier. So the people that risk during round 1, this is going to make you sick. So if you risk in round 1, which first round usually they call Geneisis, these babies are listed at 1 BTC and up. Now, I was hoping someone will fat finger this, but you never know. So these are basically Geneisis. Now, I don't know why someone would risk their Geneisis block. That doesn't make any sense. So, what is the takeaway? Each round, these become less and less rare. Thus, the market price will probably be less, okay? When you do risk your GOB by reinscribing GOB to risk it, these are your chances of survival, okay? So as you see, it starts with Geneisis, those are the 1 BTCs. Chance of survival is 1%. So theoretically, someone would have had to risk 100 GOBs in order to possibly survive. Okay, and then you can see round 2, it's only 1.6. So your survival rate is still pretty low. It doesn't really jump up until you get into 5 or 6. But I would say, anything under tier 5 is probably going to be pretty rare. So in a nutshell, this game is very simple. You hold an ordinal, it doubles, you get twice as many chances. If you inscribe it to risk it, you have a chance of basically surviving and winning a rare piece, depending on what tier you're on. So, and then your survival rate jumps up, like I said, 7. But I would say these will be floors. They really won't be worth much. So, with that being said, that's how the tiers work. So that's number 1. Number 2, I would say now that we're going into round 2, first and foremost, let the indexing finish, okay? Because some of these look like they're a good GOB, and then when you click on it, game over. That's a worthless one. So basically, the game over ones are worthless, okay? So you don't want to buy a game over, or basically you're just throwing your money away. So my alpha is to you is round 2. Round 2 tiers should be still pretty valuable, I would think. So I'm going to let the indexing finish because I don't want to sit and hand pick these trying to find ones. So ideally you want to find one that when you click on it, it still looks good. But I would just wait for the countdown timer to show up again, because we get a block counter timer that will show once the next round starts. So you don't want to do anything right now. You want to wait until you see the countdown timer on your ordinal. And then I would ape into this. It's pretty simple. And the ones that have split and survived, it doubles your chance. So I will, no matter what, I'm going to keep 1. Okay, that's my moon bag, and I'll just let it continue to split. And then that way I always have that ace in the hole. But I'm going to buy a bunch of these, stack a bunch of these that are valid, and I will risk them. So I'm going to have the basic instructions here. It's inscribed, but it's a little confusing. Like I said, I didn't understand it. And then also a link to satting.io where it shows you how to reinscribe it, to risk it basically. So you reinscribe and that. So that is Game of Blocks. Like I said, the alpha is to snag up some of these for round 2. The round 1 Geneisis floors, 1 BTC. Insane. Somebody listed one for 4.2. So obviously these people understood the game. So this is an example of what your game of blocks would look like if you survive. It would be this random PFP image of a god. So these Geneisis ones are god tier. So I would expect once the next round completes out, there'll be another tier. So obviously it wouldn't be Geneisis, it would be like tier 2 or round 2 or whatever. So that is Game of Blocks. Good luck and happy minting and mining. This is Cryptoslo. Like, subscribe. If you're not talking gains, then we're not talking.